So you're not going to ever be able to play a narcissistic person's ground game, so don't even try that at home, kids. So have you ever watched a bully and a regular person get into a fight? Not even a physical fight, just a yelling fight. So the bully is willing to scream and humiliate and yell and say really awful things and do some really low blows. They might make fun of a person's appearance, their gender, their race, and in a short period of time, really try to shame and break someone down. When people do that to us or really come at us, we often get agitated and start turning up our own volume. We may go on the attack. The bully will get louder, may escalate, say meaner things. They may even laugh at us. So in a way, when we try to play their ground game, they get stronger. It's supply for them. Narcissistic people are antagonistic, so they're built to fight. They feel entitled to say and do what they want. They feel entitled to the thing they are fighting for, whether it's a parking spot or to get into your lane of traffic or to cheat on you or to take your money. And they don't have empathy. Then you throw some insecurity in on top of that and their need for power and dominance and control to offset that insecurity. And I promise you this, you are in for one hell of a fight. For the smallest things sometimes, like I said, like that parking spot or that spot in line, they will have no problem raising their voice or humiliating you and shaming you, but it doesn't work in reverse. We've all been here. In fact, when there is that kind of injustice, someone taking something, for example, that is clearly not theirs, and feeling that they have a right to, or putting other people at risk, or just being mean, and someone is coming at us, that sympathetic nervous system of ours kicks in. And at those times, even if it's not our go-to, even some of the mild-mannered people amongst us may summon up a fight response. And it doesn't work. If you get into a fight with a narcissist, it's what they want. It's why they bait. I live in Los Angeles, which is a car culture, and people are really mean on the road. There have also been some horrific examples on the Southern California roadways of what seemed like narcissistic people shooting and killing people because someone cut them off in traffic or got mad at them, or maybe because the other driver honked at them for cutting them off. It's not worth it, folks. If someone is driving erratically, give them a wide berth. There's a lot of research showing that narcissistic people are significantly more dangerous drivers. And narcissistic people are also dysregulated. So yes, they may shoot you or use their car as a weapon. And then after you're dead, give some BS nonsense afterwards after how they just got angry and they didn't mean it. Well, by then you're injured or dead. So their lame apology, which is really meant to lessen their sentence, won't do you much good, would it? Someone cuts you off in traffic, pull back, don't engage, and if they keep harassing or following you, find a police or fire station to drive to have them follow you to, and then stay there, and then pay attention and make sure you are not followed home. Sadly, this is the world we live in. Gotta love the narcissist for that one. Nobody's ever going to do anything about the narcissistic people's behavior until they do something that escalates to the level of danger. And by then, it's often too late. Anyhow, that's a more extreme example. But when people come at us, maybe not even like raging at us in traffic, we want to put them in their place. That's natural. And we can even take this down a notch to people who are behaving cruelly and manipulatively in the workplace, or friends who engage in smear campaigns, or family members who spread malicious gossip and lies, or may even humiliate and shame you in front of the family. You may want to scream back or do your own smear campaign. You want them to taste their poison. It doesn't work. It's not that they are immune to it, but they like a dirty fight. And they will always out-dirty fight you. Some of this relates to something that narcissistic people can do, but most people who are not narcissistic cannot, which is to have two very different faces and switch between them quickly. For a regular person, if you have an emotion, sadness, worry, anger, it doesn't turn on and off. And others may notice it, even if you're trying to cover it up. And again, we may not even want people to see it. For example, we may not want a stranger or someone at work to know that we're sad or upset. But when we are really deeply experiencing emotion, we just may not be able to turn it off. But we try, but how we look to others is such a motivator for us, but we can't. But we may clean up. We may even be able to get into a numbed space, but not so much a performative, how can I look like everything's great space. Narcissistic people can go from charming to abusive in like 5 seconds. It's really quite remarkable to witness. So as the fight you're having with them gets ickier and dirtier, they can do it and still be able to appear charming to others, and then turn on their collective gaslighting muscle and paint you out as the problem, or they play the victim. Most of us can't do this. So as a result, they can fight dirty, play the victim, get the support of other people, and make it look like you're the problem. Now, this can often play out in intimate relationships where you are tired of them being shady or deceitful, or you want them to know what it feels like after they cheat on you or flirt or are inappropriate with other people. You want them to know how bad that feels. You want to outplay them. And you may say, oh, I'm going out with my friends tonight, and you look like $1,000,000. And then you post, maybe you post a social media image that may attract lots of compliments, or even keep talking about how someone at work has been noticing you, or someone in the coffee shop noticed you. You may even wish you could do what they do and get supply from someone else, just so they could watch this all happen and know what it feels like, but you can't. You may even feel a little guilty about the social media post, or when someone tries to buy you a drink on that night you look good and you're out with your friends. Or you may backpedal from talking about that person at work, or you can't imagine cheating, not because you are protective of the narcissistic person per se, but because you have empathy and you don't want to do this to someone. And they don't have empathy, so they're not noticing. They're just viewing it, and they get into a jealous rage perspective. You may even do it just to feel something after being treated so badly for so long. But many people will say, I tried this, but it didn't feel right to me. It may just be a way station for you after the desolation of the narcissistic relationship. However, I promise you, you cannot beat them at their own game, because it just doesn't work that way. You want something that they can't do. You want to be seen, respected, regarded, heard. You want to feel and be treated like a human being. Now, the road rage bullies, they're not in your life. So obviously that's easy. Just don't engage and give them a wide berth. And have the sad realization that somewhere out there is a very sad and abused spouse or kids or family or coworkers of this horrible person driving this car. But you don't have to engage. In your own life, it's the frustration and the awareness that you aren't playing the same game. Compassion, collaboration, balance, that's not what they're doing. They're playing a selfish power and dominance game riddled with entitlement. So what do we learn from all of this? Stop trying to play their game. Certainly not going to beat them at it. I'm not even convinced any of us can play it. Don't engage. Drive away. Have compassion for yourself. Because when we get pulled into their mud, not only do we not win, but it could potentially be dangerous, and we certainly often feel bad afterwards. That empathy comes back to bite us. Bring the best of yourself to the good people in your life. You're never going to be able to out-dirty play a narcissistic person, and for most of us, our lives aren't political campaigns or hostile takeovers. Our lives are our lives. Your narcissistic partner or colleague or family member is motivated by something very different than you. And you won't win by trying to be like them, and nor can you win at this idea of doing what they do so they can see how you feel. For that maneuver to work, for them to watch what they do to you and say, ooh, that's not very nice, I better stop. That would require so much self-awareness and empathy that if they had that, then they're not narcissistic and you wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. Never try to outplay a bully. It will always, always come back at you. Thanks again.